Be warned, this section contains strong language.
I'm making this video now because I think what's going on is absolutely criminal. I am not against vaccinations. Everybody who makes videos like this says that, but I can back it up. I gave approval for my mother in a nursing home to be vaccinated with Pfizer 6 months ago, obviously not knowing what I know now. I have also been jabbed for tetanus just recently after being bitten by a feral cat at the farm. Everything I stand for is now being threatened by a ridiculous mandate that I cannot support. It's a mandate that all aviation workers in the industry are now being forced to adopt, and that is no jab, no job. If I lose my job, I will lose my income, and that will leave me completely without funds. Scott Morrison.
That fella down under.
What a disappointment. And you call yourself a Christian. Go back to your Bible, Mr. Morrison. State premiers. Daniel Andrews. Don't get me started. Draconian Dan.
To protect the health system, we're going to lock out people who are not vaccinated and can be. If you're making the choice not to get vaccinated, then you're making the wrong choice.
Moving up the coast, Gladys Berejiklian, you were a champ in the bushfires. Man, I was proud of you. I thought you were the best politician I've ever seen. Then you went into COVID and you managed it the same way. You were pragmatic. You were honest. You tried to keep an even keel. But then the media got stuck into you. One of the team that give you the medical advice, you said, which is the best in the world, which now includes don't talk to your neighbour if you've got a mask on.
Don't start up a conversation.
If you're not vaccinated, you will not have the freedom or the freedoms that vaccinated people have, even when we get to 80% double dose. I mean, I personally don't want to go into a workplace or a venue where there's unvaccinated people.
Unbelievable. Then I go to Queensland. It was heartbreaking on the weekend to see fathers leaning across plastic barriers at the Tweed Coast border to hug their children that they're not allowed to go and visit. It's like a plastic Berlin Wall. Police. I wear a uniform like you do, and we have a lot of empathy for guys in uniform. This isn't what you signed up for. A video the other day, what about 14 policemen subduing a 12-year-old girl for not wearing a mask in a Sydney shopping centre and then pepper spraying her? Is that what you signed up for? To be Brad Hazard's henchman? Military. You're patrolling state borders to keep Australians from Australians. That's not on. That's not what we are. That's not the spirit of Australia, the flying kangaroo. Australia, you must listen.
I'm 72. Ever since I left high school, all I've put up with in this country is fucking government departments at every level. Local government, state government, federal government. They do nothing but interfere in your life continually. They just can't help their fucking self because they're all megalomaniacs.
Alrighty, Roo, so here's another fan-fucking-tastic example of how our government are corrupt as fuck and full of fucking shit.
The business that's going on at the moment with COVID, it's the greatest load of shit designed to put fear into people so they can control the people. Divide and conquer.
So we can't even enter Queensland to say goodbye to a dying loved one or attend a fucking funeral. However, what the fuck did the NRL family members do the other day? Hey, what did they do? Well, they got a chartered flight from Sydney to fucking Brisbane and they don't have to self-isolate. What the fuck is that? Huh?
They've been at this shit now since the mid-1970s. But everyone out there's too busy all fucking fighting with each other instead of fighting the common enemy. The common enemy is the governments of this country and the politicians.
Dead set, the double standards need to fucking stop.
As for the coppers I should say, they're just fucking cunts on a good day. The bastards, they're the most corrupt cunts there is in this fucking country.
I'm from Queensland. Okay, most of my family members and friends are over there. I've got a niece and nephew who are extraordinarily young, who I haven't seen in fucking months. I'm missing out on their fucking childhood because Anastasia, Pedicchio, double chin, motherfucking bitch face, asshole cunt, reckons I can't visit my own fucking home state, but it's fine for the NRL family members to do it. Yeah, does that make sense? No, it fucking doesn't.
And until we stand up with some balls together, united against these cunts, we've got no hope of winning.
Wake the fuck up.
Can't go to cities 'cause they're all locked down. I can't hug me grandkids, they're in the next town. And even with my mask on, you can still see me frown. I still call Australia home.
Just look at the data out of Israel, and it will show you that the Doherty modelling's assumptions are dodgy at the best. We are talking about a medical intervention that has zero long-term safety data. Don't believe me? I will quote directly from the TGA's recent report dated July 2021. I go to this, page 30 to 37, and it talks about Pfizer's application. And it says, and I quote, "The submitted data has the following limitations. The long-term safety is not known." But it's even worse than that. It goes on, and they admit here, they say the VE, which is the vaccine efficacy, against variants of concern, which of course of Delta, has not been assessed. The TGA's own documents. So this means it hasn't been assessed against Delta, and we have no idea what the long-term safety data is. And yet we are mandating this upon millions of Australians and forcing them with the threat that they will lose their jobs, that they'll be unable to put food on the table for their family, that they won't be able to pay their mortgage. What is wrong with you people? Seriously.
Vaccine mandates and vaccine passports are immoral, they're unpatriotic, and they're not on.
Early in the pandemic, we saw harrowing footage of the CCP ruthlessly enforcing lockdown measures. At the time, you could have been forgiven for shrugging and thinking only in communist China. How wrong you could have been. Australia has gone to insane lengths to halt a disease with an infection fatality rate of 0.27%. We've had the military patrolling the streets to enforce lockdown orders, mask mandates and travel limits. A 3-year-old toddler denied a border exemption to be with his parents. Dogs executed to prevent rescue volunteers travelling outside their designated 5-kilometre radius. An elderly man arrested by police who didn't believe he was exempt from wearing a mask due to a heart condition, causing him to collapse of a heart attack. Lockdown protesters fired upon with tear gas and pepper ball bullets. A man in Alice Springs tackled to the ground and fined $5,000 for drinking a coffee without a mask on. $11,000 fines issued for crossing a road into a different local government area in New South Wales. Babies left to die because they can't cross state borders for the treatment they need. Families forced to celebrate birthdays across the Queensland-New South Wales border barricade. Anti-lockdown campaigner Monica Smith locked up for a political activity. I could go on for hours. It's time that we take off the COVID blinkers and look at what's happened to our once great and free country. Now, Australia might not be communist China, but I've got to tell you, Mr Deputy Speaker, it's a hell of a lot closer than it was just 2 years ago.
And instead of calling all these people at the rallies anti-vaxxers, see them for who they are. They're freedom fighters, and they're fighting for your rights that you've given away.
Every day, every day, every day.
So stop labelling them and get out there and join them. Stand in silent protest. I stand with the truckies and anybody else who's standing against this draconian nation that we've become. We're not a nation anymore anyway. We're a conglomerate of little state dictatorships which are ultimately run by CEOs of big corporations.
Leave now or force may be used. No further warnings will be given.
I will not sit in front of a television saying, why don't they do something, knowing that the they is me. Time to wake up, Australia. We're on final approach to land.